All right, by way of introductions, my name is Jeff Anderson. I'm one of the lawyers for these courageous survivors who filed these actions today. Also to my right is Mike Bryant, B-R-Y-A-N-T, my esteemed co-counsel, who has been working with us in both filing these actions and doing what needs to be done to help us protect kids and empower the survivors. To my left are two very courageous survivors who found their voice and spoke up many years ago. And first is Al Vogel, V-O-G-E-L, and to his left is his brother John, J-O-H-N, Vogel, V-O-G-E-L. We're here with a great sense of sorrow and alarm, because both the Abbey at St. John's and the officials there and the officials at the Diocese of St. Cloud continue to make promises that they have gotten better and will be better when it comes to child protection, but they continue to break those promises. And so today we brought a suit on behalf of 4 victims, survivors, John and Al Vogel, and 2 other survivors whose names are anonymous, John Doe 40 and John Doe 49. And in each of those cases, the claim against the Diocese of St. Cloud and St. John's is for public nuisance, to cause them to step up and be transparent and honor the promises they'd made to so many survivors for so many years that are still unfulfilled and in fact broken. The Diocese of St. Cloud is also named because they permitted these serial offenders, Cosmos Dahlheimer and Richard Eckroth, both monks who abused these young men, to not only remain in ministry time and time again over the years, but when survivors came forward and we made settlements with them, they promised they would clean it up. They promised they would become transparent, and they promised they would be accountable. And John and Al Vogel had the courage to come forward before 2002, but came to us in 2002. And in 2002, we made a settlement with the Abbey at St. John's. And they promised, here's the headline, Abbey promises change. And what we've since seen since 2002, and when this settlement was made with these courageous survivors and many others, we saw first great promise and great hope. And I thought, this is the model. This is the new way. And I even did a press conference at St. John's claiming that I thought we had found a new path. To my great sorrow and sadness and the pain of so many, things didn't change. And in 2011, we brought suit again and made another settlement with new policies, new practices were implemented, and new promises were made. And those promises have been broken. And so we're here today to not only make sure the Diocese of St. Cloud and the abbot and all of St. John's live by the promises they've made, but they speak truth. They do what needs to be done to help heal the survivors that have been hurt and not hurt them further by betraying their trust and the promises, and protect kids in the future. Why public nuisance? Public nuisance under the law of Minnesota says that if an organization, in this case the Diocese of St. Cloud and St. John's, continues to engage in activities that are a hazard to the public and the children, they are engaging in a public nuisance. These suits seek to enjoin, seek to stop the practices that are so dangerous that are being employed by the Diocese of St. Cloud and the current Bishop Kettler, by St. John's Abbey and Abbot John Clausen, and they continue to make promises to the people that all offenders are out of ministry and all offenders are restricted. But we're sorry to say that what they're saying to the public and to the people and to the survivors is not true. We took a deposition of Alan Tarleton, and in that deposition, he's a serial offender. We asked him, what restrictions are being placed on you? And he said, I don't really have any restrictions. 3 weeks ago, Mike Bryant took the deposition of Father James Tennis, Thoennes, a serial offender who admitted to having abused 6 kids. And when Mike Bryant asked him about the restrictions imposed on him, you'll see his answer. But before you see his answer, we want you to see what Abbot John Clausen and Bishop Kettler said to the people and the St. Cloud Times editorial board, because it's posted on the website. So let's go to what Bishop Kettler is telling the people and Abbot John Clausen is telling the people about how safe it really is.
We have one priest that has been removed from ministry completely. He's not allowed, and we verify this and check this frequently. He's not, we are constantly taking care of and observing that he follows all of these, that he's not in contact with any young people.
Were you able to get that because of that light?
Yeah, it's on the whole screen.
Which light?
Okay, when we play this, yeah, let's, can we, Mark, can we undo that light when we play the video? Does that help?
Probably them.
That one over there?
Is the clip in your media packet?
Yeah, you know, is this clip in the media packet?
No.
It's not? Okay. So let's turn that light off then, and let's play the clip again.
We turn that one off too. There we go.
Okay. Okay. What we're going to do is play the clip of the promises made by Bishop Kettler, the bishop for the Diocese of St. Cloud, and Abbot John Clausen, the head of St. John's Abbey, to the people and the St. Cloud Times editorial board, in which they are telling the people there are no priests in ministry, and any priest who is offended is under serious restrictions, so they cannot be around kids. And as I said, Tarleton, a monk, has already told us under oath that he is effectively without restriction. And here is the recent deposition or statement of both Kettler and Clausen.
We have one priest that has been removed from ministry completely. He's not allowed, and we verify this and check this frequently. He's not, we are constantly taking care of and observing that he follows all of these, that he's not in contact with any young people.
Okay, did you hear that? We are constantly in contact and observing him, and that he's not around any young people. He's speaking on behalf of the Diocese of St. Cloud, and he's speaking on behalf of St. John's Abbey, and they said there's only one priest. Okay, that priest is Father James Tennis. Mike Bryan took his deposition under oath 3 weeks ago and asked him about the restrictions that he is under that Kettler had been talking about.
Now, the other than not being able to say Mass and not being able to administer the sacraments, at present, are you under any other restrictions?
No.
No. So as far as anything else that was done by Bishop Kenny, any restrictions as far as what you can do, as far as where you can go?
Well, I have to have permission to go anywhere.
Okay, who do you get permission from?
Father Ropus or before Father Henneking.
Who was that?
Henneking, and he was the Vicar General before.
Vicar General. Okay. And when you need to ask for permission, is it to go out of town, to go into town? What's the
Or
parameters?
to leave the perimeter of St. Cloud.
Okay.
I can go to St. Joe or St. John's. But Kimball there, I got permission.
Okay. So you can go to St. Joe's and St. John's without requesting permission? That's a yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Speaks for itself. He's free to do what he wants to do, how he wants to do it, when he wants to do it. The representations made by Bishop Kettler and by Clausen speaks for themselves, and Father Tennis's own words about the actuality of those restrictions speaks for itself. He is still free to do what he wants to do, when he wants to do it, and how he wants to do it, and go where he wants to go. And I wish it was an isolated incident, but it is a long-standing pattern and a long-standing practice of promises made to the survivors, promises made to us, promises made to the people, that they are restricting these offenders, that they are coming clean and becoming transparent and accountable, and they haven't been transparent, they haven't been accountable, and they continue to break these promises. And Tennis is a perfect example, or I should say an imperfect example, and Tarleton is too. I'm going to turn this to John Vogel first and Al for their reaction to this, and have them tell you why they're here and why they chose to file the suit that they did after they worked with us in 2002 to reach a settlement in which they thought St. John's was going to step up and do the right thing. And it was that settlement in 2002 they were a part of that it was reported that the Abbey promises change. And in this picture, it looks like that's you, isn't it, Al?
Yes, it is.
And that's me hugging your dad,
That's correct.
who's now deceased. Yeah. John, you want to start?
Sure.
Come over.
I'm John Raymond Vogel. I'm here today, as Jeff said, to support other survivors and basically to talk to everybody to hold St. John's accountable, St. Augustine's, the Diocese of St. Cloud. We're here for disclosure. That hasn't happened in my eyes since 2002, since we came to this settlement. We are most interested in protection of kids because, as you saw in the clip, these gentlemen are still freely to walk St. Joe, Way Park, Sauk Rapids, St. Cloud, St. John's. So basically, in my view, all kids are at risk as we speak. Lastly, mostly broken promises by St. John's in 2002. They told us they were going to clean up. They told my whole family, my mother, my other brother, Mike Vogel, that's not here today, my father, before he passed, that they were going to do a lot of things. It's all clearly stepped out in steps and form this new panel. And the panel did form, but they did not do not only one step, but they stomped them all. They have done nothing. Everything I read and see is all, in my point, untrue. And the deceit continues, promises continue to be broken. And we're here to put that out in front of everybody. It's what they're saying to the news and to the people of Minnesota is not true. Absolutely.
And John, you were abused as a youth by this offender.
Correct.
You're not. I know it's hard to look at this picture.
Yeah, it is very
I'm
hard.
not going to make you look at the picture, but I want the people to see the picture because Richard Eckroth is a serial offender that offended many and raped many kids over many years with knowledge of St. John's. And when you worked with us in 2002, some promises were made to you, to your brother Al, your other brother Mike, whose permission we have to use here today, who's abused by Dahlheimer, and to your mom, and to your dad. And tell us about that promise and how you feel about what they did.
The promise was basically the four
Step up
steps.
to the mic, please.
I'm sorry. The promise was basically the four steps that all of us in conjunction with Jeff Anderson wrote with Abbott Clausen to prevent future harm to kids. It's all, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't say it, but the promise to my father was that Mr. Clausen would do everything that he could to prevent it going forward, any more abuse, that he would be transparent, that he would do something to help us, my two brothers and my family and my father. At the time, he had to leave St. John's after 40 years of working there. My mother had put 30 years in, so 70 combined. I have another brother that's still employed at St. John's, but it was just family pain. They told us they were going to take care of the family and do what was right, and that has not happened at all. So I've been dealing with this since 1972. In my opinion, we're right back to square one. Nothing has changed. The priests are out on the street, and me and my brother Al stand here just like we did in 1999, in my opinion.
Thank you, John. Al, let's hear from you.
Good morning. My name is Alan Raymond Vogel, and I'm here again. I've been in front of this for 20 years, a little over 2 decades. Very saddened that we're here again discussing things that we had hoped 20 years ago would change, but again, we're back to accountability, disclosure, transparency, and the ability for us to protect our children. You watched the clips previously, and you know that by watching them, the right things are not happening. I will not go away until the right thing happens. So it's my purpose that things change. We've been made many promises over the years. In 2001, again in 2011. It's time that the truth be told. So that's why I'm here today. Thank you.
And Al was abused by Cosmo Stahlheimer. One of the other suits that were brought here today involve abuse by Cosmo Stahlheimer. Cosmo Stahlheimer abused at St. Bernard's, and he also abused when he was at the monastery in St. John's, where he came to know the Vogel family. Cosmo Stahlheimer is dead. But the harm he did to these kids, and so many, we can't even count, is evergreen. Moreover, what concerns us most today is those that made the choices, the former abbots, are the same kind of choices that are being made today by the current abbot, the same bishops. That is, to make promises to do better and break promises. And that's why we're so sad, and that's why we're so alarmed, and that's why these men stand before you again, urging that the right thing be done. One of the things that they were supposed to do in the settlement that was reached in 2002 and again in 2011 was to come clean with the names of all the offenders who have been credibly accused. And so they first posted a list. The list was incomplete. We challenged them on it. And over there is a list now of April 15th of 2011. And that list differs from the list that got posted, what's the next date? 2013. In 2013. And if you look at the website, the list on the website is different. We have yet to see a complete and total list of the credibly accused offenders at St. John's, and we believe at St. Cloud. Moreover, when they made the settlements with these courageous survivors, and I might add 9 other survivors in 2002, a total of 12, and then later 8 other survivors in 2011, they said, we're going to have a review board. And you, survivors, with our help, are going to appoint half of that review board. We did. And we thought that was the way to go, outside review. Well, we appointed 4 members of that board, one of whom was Pat Marker, and the reality is that he resigned, and that board became a tool for the continued past practices of the Abbey, and has been rendered, in our view, either ineffective and meaningless. And that's alarming, it's disturbing, it's disappointing, and to these survivors and their brother and their family and all those who we worked so hard to get in 2002 this done, it's a deep betrayal. So this isn't just about betrayal of trust by these offenders, Eckroth and Dahlheimer. It's a betrayal of trust by all the former abbots and the current abbot, John Clausen, and the current bishop of the Diocese of St. Cloud, who is making empty promises, Bishop Kettler. And until they make promises that are kept, and until we know that children are safe in the communities, we will stand with courageous survivors like this to make the truth known and to have it revealed, as sorrowful and as difficult as it is. So we praise and applaud you for your courage in doing this again, and we're sad that you are here today having to do it again. So 4 lawsuits were filed, 3 involving Dahlheimer, 3 involving Dahlheimer, and 2 involving Eckroth. and against both the diocese and the Abbey. And we seek to really get them to do what they've already promised to do, but that is first come clean with, number one, all the files of all the offenders, the same way we require the Archdiocese of St. Paul, Minneapolis to do. All those accused, not just credibly accused. Number two, these lawsuits seek to require them to give the names of every offender who has been accused and their files so we can review that to make sure there are not others out there whose names are not known, who they have cleared, who should not have been cleared. Three, that they turn over to us the files of every single offender, dead or alive, who has been accused, so we can review that file to make sure that kids are not at risk and they are not continuing to keep these secrets the way they have in the past. And this very same thing is going on right now in the Archdiocese of St. Paul, Minneapolis, because of the public nuisance claims we brought here. And that's what we seek to do here. And until that is done, and there's a full and open disclosure and exposure of all the offenders, accused and credibly accused, we cannot rest and the community is not safe. And I might add, as we met with Al and John and some of the other survivors who aren't named in these lawsuits this morning, and we looked at the tapes and we looked at the agreements that we made, we shared some tears and some sorrows. And it's not just for the pain that these survivors are carrying today, but it's for the wounds that get opened by the promises broken and the trust betrayed. And it's for the kids that remain at risk by reason of these reckless practices and these broken promises.